where I need a third bookshelf, a fourth, whoa. Hi everybody, my name is Rosalie and welcome back to my channel, back to Chubby. Today is another Do It With Me weight loss, so I am gonna meal prep pretty quickly, really, because this week's meal prep took almost no time, but there was something else I wanted to talk about first. Self-sabotage through complacency, basically. I felt like I had gotten to a point where I was doing something that was working for me, and so I started not being as hard on myself and not being as strict with myself. Hard on myself isn't what I mean. I hadn't been being as rigorous in paying attention to like what I was eating and when and how much, mostly on cheat days. Generally throughout the weeks we've been doing meal plans, which has been working great for me. And then when we started, we had 1 day a week, which I was calling a cheat day, which is different than what a lot of people refer to as a cheat day. For me, it was more of a like IIFYM kind of thing, like if it fits your macros, like if you're not going crazy on your fats or your carbs, your proteins, and you're within your calories, have whatever you want that day. It was just more of an unstructured day, I guess you could say. Something that wasn't planned, where I could have something off the meal plan and somebody else could do the cooking. And so in the beginning that was working fine for me because it gave me a little bit of a break. It gave me something to look forward to, and it was sort of a nice treat for myself. But I was still being very careful with what I had. So if, for example, MyFitnessPal said that I could only have 2,000 calories, even though my meal plan was like 1,600 or whatever for the week, on cheat day or my unstructured day, I could have up to 2,000 calories. I still wouldn't go over that, and I would still track everything, and I'd still make sure that I wasn't going crazy on a bunch of fat or anything. So it was a little bit more free, but it was still within the realm of where I should be. And so I've been trying to figure out the last several weeks why I haven't been making as much progress as I had been. So initially when I was having cheat days, I might go up like a pound or two after that day, usually from water retention or extra sodium or something. And then in a day or two that would be gone, and then I would lose more weight by weigh-in day. Well, lately I haven't been treating cheat days the same. I've been treating my unstructured days as actual cheat days, like just having whatever I want, whenever I want, however much I want, and going. Like, I had to really evaluate what I was having, because I would think that I wasn't going overboard. Be like, well, it's just a hamburger, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, sure, but then if you don't compensate for that hamburger in other things that you eat throughout the day, it's gonna add up. And so now, after my cheat days, I've been going up like 4 or 5 pounds, and then it's barely off by Friday. I really needed to confront myself about it, because I stopped really tracking what I was having on cheat days, and rather than having one unstructured day, we would have the whole weekend, or sometimes it would start on Friday when we would go out with Josh's work friends or something. And so it was turning into whole unstructured weekends, and so I'd be doing really good for 3 or 4 days, and then having 3 days or 2 days where I was falling back into old habits. So I decided I really need to start reining that back in. I still do want to have one unstructured day, but I want to do it how I was in the beginning. Like in the beginning, I was having a cheat day every week and still losing like between 3 to 7 pounds in a week. And lately I've been losing like maybe a pound, sometimes less. And there are other things like PCOS that go into that, and you know, your period or stress or whatever. But generally speaking, I haven't been seeing as much progress the last few weeks as I feel I should be. And I realize that it's because I haven't been being completely honest with myself on cheat days. Or rather, I've been actually having cheat days rather than unstructured, still responsible days, if that makes sense. I guess I wanted to throw that out there, A, because I'm trying to be accountable and honest, and B, because I feel that if you're one of those other people who is in the same boat as me, like you feel like you're doing a good job, but then for whatever reason something isn't working how it should, maybe you need to really evaluate and be honest with yourself as to whether or not you're actually doing as well as you thought you were. So I have been doing really well for most of the time, but then I go off track and it's adding up. I want to get back to where I was actually seeing progress and trying to view food as fuel for my body rather than what it's been for most of my life, which is a lot of things. Anyway, let's go ahead and get to the meal prep. But before I do, there's really only two things I want to say. First is that the breakfast is essentially the same as it was last week. It is the same as it was last week because I needed to use up some almond milk and some bananas that I had left over. For dinner, there is a way to make it vegan if you want to, but I will talk about that afterwards. If you didn't catch this last week, I just threw some bananas, almond milk, and PB2 powder in a jar. And yes, that's an old salsa jar, don't judge me. And then I used my immersion blender to stir it all up. For lunch, we're just gonna have some smoked chicken left over from Mother's Day dinner and some salad, nothing fancy. For dinner, I threw my parents' ham bone left over from Easter in a crock pot with some Great Northern beans, along with some celery, carrots, onion, parsley, and thyme, some unsalted chicken stock, and several pressed cloves of garlic. Then I just stirred it up, put it on low for several hours, and we'll have it with some multigrain bread. For snacks, we're gonna have some cocoa roasted almonds, an orange, and some grapes. And this is what a full day looks like. Okay, so that was it, pretty fast and simple. I'm sure you're wondering how to make ham and beans vegan. Well, first you leave out the ham, obviously. But from what I understand, if you use paprika and some liquid smoke, it'll give it the same sort of flavor. So if that might be one of the things you miss, like a comfort food kind of thing you miss, supposedly, I didn't try it obviously because we had the ham bone, but you can sort of have the same flavor without the meat. So I just wanted to share that with you. Just a quick update on decluttering my house before I end the video. I've almost gotten through my office and through most of my closet, but not the clothes in my closet. I had like several chests of drawers in my closet that had all kinds of stuff in them, from electronics to random things I need for around the house, furniture movers, things like that. And there's some places where I've had to stop and like not get sidetracked, but for example, these are old phones of ours. These are the ones that still work, at least. The ones that haven't worked, I finally just got rid of them. Some of them, the batteries blew up. Some of them, for whatever reason, they just won't turn on. A lot of these we got stuff off of when we moved from one phone to another. Some of them are quite old, but a lot of them we still had a lot of pictures and some videos on. So, for example, I spent an entire day trying to find the cords for these, get it uploaded to my computer, etc. I didn't even stop and take the time to like organize the pictures or anything. I just wanted them off of these phones so that then I can drop them off at, I think it's Staples here. Also, side note, if you need to get rid of old phones and electronics, usually if you find an office supply store like Staples or Office Max or something, and you take them to them, they usually have a bin specifically for electronics and stuff like this, because it's not good to have the stuff, especially in the batteries, in landfills. So they will either recycle the parts or the casings, things like that, or sometimes refurbish them and sell them depending on how old it is. Now that I finally got the pictures off of all those, I can take those and drop them off. So anyways, there have been sidetracking events like that that are still going along with what I'm trying to get done, but I wanted all those pictures before we got rid of the phones, but then that took up a whole day. I still need to go through all my clothes, and the kitchen I really want to get into, but it's also a wreck right now, and my books. But I'm one of those people who likes to reread my books, and in my job I will refer to them sometimes, so there's quite a few I can't and won't get rid of. I need another bookshelf if I don't get rid of some, and we don't have the space for that, and it sort of goes against what I'm trying to do here. There's just a few more things I really need to go through, but some of the more time-consuming things I think hopefully are out of the way. As just a couple more reminders before I end the video, you can use my BetterHelp referral link in the description box down below to get a free week trial of the counseling service that I've been using. Also, you guys can find me on social media with the username BackToChubby, all one word, spelled just like it is here. And I hope wherever you guys are, you are safe and happy and healthy. Remember to just keep trying the best you can and maybe own up to some of the crap you've been doing to yourself. I will see you guys on Friday.